Welcome, everyone. You are tuning into Engaging Walk. My name is Drake.
And my name is Rubie.
We believe in the power of walking together and talking together.
It's a simple act to stay connected. Movement is key.
This week, we will discuss the concept of asking intentional questions and driving a deeper understanding as you take walks with your significant other.
Let's dive into the topic. And this week we take walks in Chula Vista. If you know, you know, you know.
Yeah, it's
But
a little. Well, it's not little. It's a city pretty much within San Diego, and it's
pretty
beautiful.
big. It's
Yeah,
pretty big. But
yeah.
yes.
So maybe I think it was like a few weeks ago or a few months ago. It's hard to tell. We were having this discussion about asking intentional questions,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like kind of like joking, but it is actually pretty serious about how powerful questions can be.
That's right.
And one of the ways that you could really just like feel this is the awkwardness that you can feel when you don't answer somebody's question.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's like, "Hey, how was your day?" and you just stonewall them and just stare at them and don't answer their question, you'll feel that awkwardness, and then like you feel like compelled to answer, right?
Yeah, because I mean, like, we grow up with the culture of answer questions, and it's very awkward. Like it caught me off guard sometimes when so especially someone asks you questions that you don't want to ask and you
Yeah,
prepare yourself, but when they ask you just like spill out the beans, and in your head you were like, no, I should not tell them this, and it's too late. So it is powerful for sure.
yeah. It seems like that's probably the reason why the founding fathers put the Fifth Amendment, why you have the right to remain silent. So, because they understood also like how powerful it is, especially if it's someone from authority asking you questions, and you're like, okay, I gotta answer. I'm gonna say this, and then you're like, oops, I shouldn't have said that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I never thought that before, but good
But this,
perspective.
but
Yeah.
it's not like that in relationships. But we do harness that power of asking questions and the power of the nature of a question
Mm-hmm.
to drive at who we are as individuals and what our goals are, what our dreams are,
Mm-hmm.
because we live in our own head, you know, and yeah. So what do you think about that?
Just what I agree with what you said. Like, it's very powerful with asking questions, and actually, I think this is an art of asking open questions, because as a teacher, like, you don't just ask question, yes no questions is very based on text and fact. But if you ask questions that stimulate, stir out the imaginations or the curiosity, you know the insights of the student, but they couldn't carry it out unless the questions be asked. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very beautiful. It's an art of the person to ask good questions. And I think it's powerful to ask good questions in relationship, because it show us like, I care, I want to know you.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think it's driving your personality, your strength, your desire and dreams and passion, when you get to somebody interview you and do questions. And to be honest, when I was 20s, early 20s,
Yeah.
there was time I realized, whoa, I just love someone just to sit down with me and just ask me all kinds of questions. And I'm a girl that look for personality tests,
Mm-hmm.
like literally all the tests.
Do you
I
remember
was like,
what your personality type
oh
was?
yeah, it changed a little bit, but like, I think it's INTJ, introvert, and then the N is do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
And two intuitions or something, and
Yeah,
then
maybe
T
intuition,
T for thinker, and J for judgment.
judging, or something like that.
Yeah, so I'm very like rational and logical,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean that I'm not sensitive.
That's true.
I can be very sensitive and dramatic. So, anyways,
Well, who
um,
amongst us isn't dramatic at some point?
yeah. So
But
go
Yeah,
back
that's
to yeah, go back to my point. I would try to say that there's a moment in my early 20, there's a deep desire that to have someone ask good questions, so that through the questions I get to discover, like by hearing my answer, I get to know a little bit more about who I am, like what is it that drive me, um, drive my visions and my hope and my dreams
hmm
look like. So
yeah.
yeah.
Those are very important things for us to know about our partner.
Mm-hmm.
What their dreams are, what their strengths, their desires, their passions.
Mm-hmm.
And those can change over time. Life happens, and then your desires change, your
Yeah.
dreams change. Like we just got a puppy, and that has been an experience, and it's only been a week that feels like a
A
month
month. Yeah.
for sure. And like
We
our whole schedule got turned upside down, and Ruby's very passionate about ha- following a schedule, and
let's just crash it. She crashes
she
that.
crash landed
Yeah.
into our schedule and pooped all over it
Uh,
and peed all over it. But we made adjustments,
yeah.
and we're doing this podcast, so we got our schedule back.
Yeah. We will talk more about her in, later on
Mm-hmm.
with different podcasts. And so I think as
So
a couple, when you take walks and as we take walks,
yes.
we ask questions instead of like normal questions, like, oh, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm good, thank you. And you, like, is niche.
Like cliche.
Oh, yeah, my brain's not working. Cliche
Yeah, we were
questions.
recording this late in the evening, and Ruby is much more of I say early afternoon kind of person,
Yeah.
and I'm
After,
more of a like night owl. So this
yeah.
is this is a disadvantage for her.
Yes,
I got the home court
forgive,
advantage.
forgive me, guys. All right.
But yeah, I think at some point when you're asking your partner questions, you can almost like right treat you could sometimes like treat it like an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe if you are taking a long walk, you're engaging walk. You could try this with you
Mm-hmm.
can try asking these questions. Um, some examples could be things like what inspires you lately.
Mm-hmm.
You can get to know about your partner's past, like what were they
Mm-hmm.
like as a child.
Mm-hmm.
That might like trigger some things for you if you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, like Ruby mentioned that she is like in high school, she was like super into biology, for example. Like it's not
Actually, it's the truth, but I was not that good. I like it, but it doesn't like me that much.
Yeah, so you could, like Ruby knows like my past that I grew up skateboarding with my friends and
Mm-hmm.
playing music, and I really wasn't that into school,
Mm-hmm.
especially in high school. I
Mm-hmm.
and that can give her like a vision of like because we don't know each other back then,
Mm-hmm.
so that can give you like a good framework of who this person is that I'm married to. What were they like in the past?
Mm-hmm.
Not just um things like where did they grow up? Like that doesn't really tell you much. Like what was it like when you were growing up
Mm-hmm.
in Vietnam? Like we
Mm-hmm.
can talk about that, and that'll give you some good insight about your partner.
Yeah, and I think the goal is like to get to know the person. And for me, for Drake, we did the DTR. It stands for determine the relationship.
Define the relationship
Yeah,
from
by Danny Silks
mhm.
and Keep Your Love on Our Life Academy. And shout out to the team and Danny Silks, Brittany and Ben, because they really built up a solid ground for us as a marriage couple, or even like even dating relationship. Because whatever that we do is to connect. And for
Mhm.
me, if my most important or desire is to connect with Drake in different levels, and even especially like his childhood, his even his skateboarding. He during dating time he would never show up with the skateboard because he didn't want me to see him fall. So but I would love to engage with you at that level, but for him it's no, it's too much. But now I start seeing him, skate in front of me, and which is great because like because of asking questions and being intentional to get connected with the other special one.
Yeah.
It just bring deeper, deeper level of knowing each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ruby is really great at, like you mentioned, at asking intentional questions. One of my favorite questions that she asked when I was on deployment, we had to spend many months apart.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Many months. It was like close to 8 months, I think, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe like seven, because we ended up meeting together in Hawaii for
Actually, it's
vacation.
a little bit more than 8 months. So yeah.
But yeah, we one during that time she would ask me, what am I doing lately to fill your love basket?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a really, I don't know, it's a kind of, it has a lot of imagination in that question because you think you can visualize your love being like a gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
And is it filled? Is it empty? And then like what has she done to make me feel loved?
Mm-hmm.
And what can she like what can I do to make you feel loved better or make you feel more loved?
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to receive love? Those are really great questions that she used to ask, and I think like just having those discussions is really powerful, like both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And my favorite questions from Drake is that he asked me, "How are you feeling?" And especially, of course, we were talking about taking walks. He will ask that, but there's a special moment when we this is our culture that when he come home from work, I will sit on his lap and then we just like eye to eye and looking at each other and asking questions like, "How are you doing? How are you feeling?" And that would just bring a different feel to it, a different engaging because I see his eye and he looking at straight at me and it's just a very vulnerable moment, but yet very connecting with your spouse, with your special one. Um, and then another question is, which area can I improve to love you better?
mm-hmm.
Now it sounds good. You will say, "Whoa, that's good," but then it's hard because you have to like
Hope be open to
think.
feedback.
Yeah, you have to open the feedback, but for me, to be asked by you, I really had to dig deep inside my heart. It's like, okay, how can he love me better? And it's sometimes we have to take a moment to think. It's okay. Oops.
I'll just edit that part out. You go back and
Yeah.
start the sentence over.
And the other question he mentioned is that which area I can I improve to love you better? And I think that's such a powerful question because it's it's give me what is that? It's give me. Let me just do it over again. Another question he asked that I think is very powerful is which area can I improve to love you better?
Yeah.
Now it sounds very like whoa, it's a good question, but then if you are a listener, it's hard. It's a big question because now I have to be vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
and really look inside my heart and say, okay, what do I need to to feel loved?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just like, oh yeah, just instead of say, I'm fine, thank you, and a fast answer. Now it's not. It's a hot connections, questions and
Yeah,
answer. So
for sure.
I think it's a powerful and it's give you a lot of give me a lot of opportunity to like tune in and get in touch with you. And yeah, and by doing that I think you can get a deeper connections and understand of who your partner is and and who you are to them.
Yeah, and you can sort of like reveal maybe some things that like you're missing out on. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be like, hey, you can love me better by buying me a Ferrari. you know.
Oh, okay.
It could be something just like, hey, you know what? It's been a while since you gave me a massage, you
That
know.
sounds good.
Or it could be like, you know what? It's been a while since you rubbed my feet, or since we showered together, or just some kind of intimate moment that you miss, or some kind of date that you wanted to go on.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to be like something like grandiose. It can just be like you can start off with little things. So that way it kind of maybe takes off the fear of asking that kind of question.
Let me add something like this is opportunity for you to connect. It's not a opportunity for you to like nag on each other. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you could do this, that would feel better. And it would take away that the connection. So and stay simple. Like for us, the thing that get us connected very quick and very fast is like taking walks.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere, and we just talks and boba,
Yeah.
and we just buy boba, walks and talks. Something that's very simple that unique to your between you and your partner, and how the relationship formed at the very beginning. I think that is very helpful, and I don't know, it will spark the fire again.
Yeah. Maybe yeah, like that's a great point because if you're like not looking forward to the answer, like why would you even ask?
That's
You
right.
know, so yeah, don't if your loved one is asking you and they're putting their heart out there, be
Uh-huh.
gentle.
Yeah, that's
Don't
right.
don't
Don't shoot them
smash
down.
their heart with with the
Don't shoot.
hammer. Don't shoot them out in the open with a duck. What do they call it? The buckshot from a shotgun.
uh,
You know, just be
yeah.
gentle
Mm-hmm.
and tell them like, hey, you know what? This is what I haven't had lately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I understand because life is busy. We're busy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the whole point of doing this is to reconnect
Mm-hmm.
and to slow it down. Like Ruby was talking about, was like we try to make that a daily exercise when I come home from work. It doesn't always happen the moment I come in. It
Uh-huh.
might be like 30 minutes later, 10 minutes later after I come in,
A couple hours
a
later,
couple hours later. But
depends
we
on the
try to
day.
like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? We haven't really connected yet. I got home.
Mm-hmm.
It's been go go go. I haven't seen you all day, but let's take that time to really just sit down and talk, even for just 5 minutes and hug
Mm-hmm.
and just hug each other and talk and just see what our partner did that day
Yeah.
and how did that make them feel like
Mm-hmm.
what do they want to do for the rest of the evening. Just little things like that can go a long way to stay connected and to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, right, we have an assignment for our listeners.
Yeah, that's right. So we would love you to interview your partner during your engaging walk. So you can pick a place. Well, for us, it's a neighborhood in Chula Vista.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can you guys can walk for like 20 or 30 minutes and to work with each other, and maybe on the way to a destination, the other destination, one person can ask questions, and then on the way back, can switch roles, and maybe let us know, three new things that you learn about yourself or your partner,
Uh huh.
and you can
Yeah.
post it on our website or podcast on the comment.
Yeah, that'd be a really fun exercise. Like you
Yeah,
can almost treat it like an interview, like we talked about earlier. It's like you
a
can
love interview.
a love interview.
Not job
Yeah, not
interview.
like a
Like a job interview. No,
not job interview.
no, no, no.
They already got the job.
Yep, that's right. And they cannot be fired.
So go on that walk and do a love interview, and then you get to your destination, turn back, and then and you switch roles.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like Ruby was saying, just let us know, three things or that you learned about yourself or your partner.
Yeah.
Could be little things, just like, hey, I didn't know that my significant other really likes Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
or whatever, just something along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
it's been fun, And then, so next week we're going to be talking about
Credo.
Credo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. We hope that you can take our engaging walk and make it your own. So stay tuned for next week's episode. We will discuss Credo. So one of the things I love about my wife is how resourceful she is. And she found an excellent opportunity for military families. We're a military family. Yeah, for military families to go essentially on like a couples retreat.
Yeah.
Married couples retreat, a marriage retreat. So it's going to be pretty much like an all expenses paid vacation for a weekend. And, we're going to have our hotel paid for.
All the food.
All the food, and we're going to just do some...
pretty much all expenses.
Yeah, and we're going to share our experience with you guys about how that went. Is there anything you want to add before we sign off?
No, that's it.
All right, so last thing, actually. Do not forget to click the follow button.
That's
if there's a follow button, a like button, if you see any kind of positive buttons, we want you to push it.
And we look forward to 10,000 followers right now.
Yeah.
And don't forget your assignment.
Let us know what new things you learned and things that you like about the engaging walk that you take with your partner. All right, my name is Drake.
And my name's Rubie.
And we are signing off with our engaging walk.
Bye.
Bye-bye.